Welcome back to the Pro Football Pod. We got another episode for you. We got the Week 8 Waiver Wire. Who should I be picking up? Who should I be letting my teammates pick up? That's what we're going to be giving you this week. Let's start with wide receivers. Who's your favorite wide receiver, Austin, to pick up this week?
I definitely like Josh Downs, rookie, for the Colts.
Now,
Minshew's shown that he's got a cannon, and he ain't afraid to use it.
if you've been listening to the episodes for the last couple of weeks, we have been talking up Josh Downs. We've been saying this exact same thing, that Anthony Richardson runs the ball with his head first, and Josh Downs is going to receive it a lot from Gardner, who likes to throw it. Now, Gardner did run in 2 touchdowns this week, and with him running in 2 touchdowns, Josh Downs still got 125 yards on 6 receptions and a touchdown. He basically got 13 points on the first play that he caught the ball. I think that the fact that he's available in almost 70% of leagues is asinine. He should be rostered in all leagues. I have him in 2, and I'll be starting him in both until he has 3 bad games in a row, because he looks like he's matchup proof. He just did it against Cleveland. He's got New Orleans this week, like we talked about in the starters and shitters episode. I think he's an easy start. I think another one that's on the same exact type of trajectory for different reasons is Jackson Smith and Jigba. We've been expecting big things from him. Pete Carroll said last week in an interview that he finally is fully healthy, that his cast has been off and he's been able to fully practice, and he's finally able to get the full workload in. On top of that, DK sat out with a hip injury. We don't know enough information to know how long that's going to last for. But Jackson
That is
Smith,
interesting, though. Whenever people talk about Jackson Smith, like, they talk down on him about the year, like he's been so average, but, like, man had wrist surgery at the beginning of the year.
yep,
That's
and he's
that's
just
huge.
now getting the ability to catch
So,
the
like,
ball again. Like,
we really don't know the potential with this guy yet.
I think on the exact same point, we've got Rashi Rice. Rashi Rice is the number 1 receiver for Patrick Mahomes. He
That one kind of hurts a little bit though with the Hardman coming in. Like, I was really like, the Rashee Rice was just building higher and higher, and then with the Hardman coming in, it's like it takes a little bit of a step back. But, like, I still like him as the number 1 target progressively
well, he's not
throughout
the
for
number 1
Patrick.
target.
No, I
That's
know
always going to
he'll
be
never be
Kelsey.
until Kelsey, but, like, Kelsey is getting older. Rashee Rice is a rookie, so, like, Patrick's gonna be in the league for a long time, and Rashee, it's nice to see that connection being built because Rashee looks like the real deal.
He looks like a
We
dog.
haven't we
He
haven't seen that the Chiefs have a guy like that in a long time since Tyreek.
We expected it from Kadarius. Sky Moore came in, and we didn't have a lot of expectations because he was exactly like McCole Hardman. And
He's just too small. Like, I mean, you can only do so much with that kind of body style. And who'd you just say?
Kadarius Toney.
Kadarius Toney, like, we knew that he has a dropping problem, so,
Well,
like,
on top
he
of
needs
that,
to work on that.
he was an uber athlete. Even last year, and the little bit that we saw him, and then he got hurt again last year. And since then, I haven't seen that uber athlete, that guy that is just flashing all over the field. If he was that, then I think he would be special. And I think that he's worth nothing. Nothing really. Like,
No,
he's
I'd
just
drop him.
in a dynasty type thing, he might be able to turn it around. This is only his like 3rd or 4th season, but I don't expect much, man. Like, he Rashi Rice looks so good because he's got the size, speed, the hands. He's got all of the potentials, and he's playing for the best quarterback in football. If he can figure out how to just be in an open space like Kelsey is, he's going to get 12 targets a game just like Kelsey does. The fact
He's
that he's
definitely
available
an
in almost
exciting player to be able to pick up, like, because the offense you're working with. If Patrick could just feed him a little bit more, like how he's feeding Kelsey, this guy could be a top 20 receiver hands down.
the
He got the
next
athletic ability for it.
the next 2 receivers are owned in a lot more leagues, and it's because they're both rookies on offenses that haven't really done much. The first one is the one I'm the most interested in, which is Jaden Reed. We talked last week about Jaden Reed,
I told you, bro. I
and
said, watch, keep your eye on this man.
With Christian Watson being out, He
Oh,
is
especially now. That's a
absolute.
huge one.
Yep. And people aren't going to
Maybe
think
the
about that.
biggest.
They're going to think,
Maybe
oh,
the
Dubs
biggest of the
has
week,
value. I can start him. But with Christian Watson, he's available in 83% of ESPN leagues right now. That should be at least 50 to 70% by the end of the week. So if you have a waiver wire that's a top pick, that might be somebody that's worth it. Between him and Rashee Rice, I would take those two guys because I think they have the best trajectory of everyone we talked about. Josh Downs and Jackson Smith. I think Josh Downs is my number one. And then Rashee, and then Jaden, and then Jackson.
Picked up a majority, so like
Yeah.
he really shouldn't be available.
Not in too many. Now this
Competitive leagues.
Another thing for Jaden is I don't think that he's really caught many touchdowns this year. So anything that he has done with his 10-point outings,
work.
it's just work. And we know that Romeo Dubs is the most targeted guy whenever Christian Watson's out, and so does every defense. I think that Jaden Reed was getting into his own whenever Christian Watson was missing those first 4 weeks. So we should be able to see him actually pop off now. I think that people are going to sleep on him, just like they've been sleeping on Josh Downs the last 2 or 3 weeks. Last receiver we're going to talk about as a potential pickup this week is Jalen Hyatt. He's available in 88% of ESPN leagues. He is on one of the worst offenses, and the only reason we're even talking about him is because of the type of athlete that he is and the fact that he is hungry for the ball down the field. He's going to be a guy.
He should be receiving targets a game. I mean,
he should be. They're messing up by not.
If you want to build that, like, him up in the organization
As a player,
like you,
exactly.
As a player, like, so that people buy into him, they buy his jerseys, they come to the game to see this man perform.
Now, this was your favorite receiver coming out of the draft. You were very high on him.
I mean, it was my favorite receiver because, I mean, you see his landing spot. Fuck that.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I wanted to say is that
so bad for him.
Because he doesn't have a quarterback that's going to be able to get him the rock. Like at least
he wanted that. That's
the
his
Giants?
favorite team. Yes, if you've ever seen the video, he talks about the Giants. He's his favorite colors.
I think he bought into the Danny Dimes a little bit too much. He doesn't dime it up that much, man. Like it's kind of a joke.
That's why his favorite team. He's just saying like he likes the uniforms and the color scheme.
I feel that. That's a reason that you would go to a team, isn't it?
Like that. Yeah, 100%.
Did you just freeze?
Skull in it.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so running backs. We do have a couple of decent pickups. The two best ones are easy. Royce Freeman, Darrell Henderson. Royce Freeman is available in 80% of ESPN leagues. Darrell Henderson in 88%. So pick up either one. They both got a plenty of work, and for the next 3 weeks, those are the guys. That's what it looked like. Austin, did we lose you?
I don't know about Darrell though.
So Darrell's the one I like the
it's
most.
you.
He had 18 carries. 18 carries is a lot, dude. And he also had the most receiving work on the day. I think he knows the offense the most, and that's why they were just willing to give him the looks. Did
we hear news that Kyron is going to be extended? Like his injury is going to be a little bit longer than we thought?
I haven't heard anything like that yet.
I think I might have. So just be aware on that situation. And like when we thought he was going to be back in a week or two.
Week 11. Week 11 was what we were expecting already. That week 11 he'd be back.
Yeah, that's 4 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks now.
Yeah.
After this week.
He was expected to be back the same week Devon Achane is expected to be back, which is week 11.
Which is around the time to be a game winner.
Exactly. Exactly. Right now, it's okay to lose a couple of games. If you can make those pushes and win out the season, then you'll make the playoffs. That's just how fantasy works. And this is when the teams produce the most, when they're actually going to be a playoff contending team. Like, this is when your team is going to show up. If they've been taking it slow, if you have a Derrick Henry, like, you're probably going to finally see some production until he goes out, and then you're going to have to replace him.
I don't have any of those top dogs. I have like Breece Hall and Devon Achane, and I picked up Kareem Hunt. So like I'm out there working, but like it's kind of working. And Jahmyr Gibbs this past week. So like He finally popped off for me.
Which Craig Reynolds is someone that a lot of people have been talking about trying to pick up. I don't
Yeah.
like that because of what happened this past
We
weekend.
know what his capability is.
Jameer Gibbs is going to get the touches whenever he's available. Craig Reynolds was on the team last year, and they still took a top 25 pick on Jameer Gibbs because they know what Craig Reynolds is. They don't want him long term. They want someone like Jameer Gibbs. I think that
After
speaks.
seeing what Jameer Gibbs could do, and because he's had such a down year so far, is that someone you're trying to trade for, or do you think?
Absolutely,
Are you
dude.
scared about? Are you scared about Montgomery coming back?
Not at all. Because
So
that
maybe
offense.
if that's someone you do have, are you trying to trade him away?
Jameer Gibbs, no. I definitely don't want to trade away Jameer Gibbs. I want to keep him because of the playoff push he's going to be capable of. I think that he is a special player that has been not performing enough. He's an absolute trade target for me. I just don't think that anybody's going to give him up that has him because they're on the I live or die by how good Jameer Gibbs does. If he does great, then
When
I get
you
to live.
invest those early rounds in those type of players, like you just
It's
want
just
to
like Bijan.
watch them play. And
On the opposite stance, I don't want anything to do with Bijan because of the team he plays for. Arthur Smith is a joke. The fact that man put up 0, we didn't even put him on the shitters because it's not even worth mentioning. Oh, he was sick. He got sick the night before. And they didn't mention anything. They didn't say a word.
Football. That's the NFL for
Yeah,
you.
and
Like,
the NFL
they're
is investigating
scummy
the
like that.
Falcons because of doing that. They're investigating right now
Okay,
the Falcons
they're
because that's not
investigating?
cool.
How about you want to talk about investigating? Let's investigate
The Philly refs.
No, yeah, let's talk about that. But it was all over the place, bro.
Yeah.
Pickett with that trying to get the first down on 4th down, running up the middle. He was clearly short, and they gave him the first down, and that changed the whole game.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, the Dolphins things, bro. I was watching that game. The face mask, like, are you kidding me? In that
There was a lot of
moment
them.
of the game.
There was a lot of them.
That was the main one, though. That was the main one that I was like, what was going on? Like, there was a clear face mask. He's saying, yo, face mask, face mask. Why are we not able to look back at the film for just 2 seconds?
The reason that I don't even want to think about that penalty is because the play before, Tyreek dropped the touchdown. If he doesn't drop that touchdown, then there's never a face mask. We don't even have to talk about it. We put that game in the Dolphins' hands, we win it. We put it in the refs' hands, they win it, and we put it in the refs' hands. We gave them the opportunity to fuck us. We'll talk about it more on Friday.
On the pod next week.
There we go. We'll maybe try to. I'll guest show on his. That way, he can get the content. We want to bring our following over there. Now another running back, Chuba Hubbard, is rostered in 46% of leagues. Miles Sanders is still questionable or out. We don't really know. They're coming off of the bye week. He's a little bit fool's gold. I don't want people to believe in him too much, but if you absolutely need somebody, they're at least going to give him all the looks. He's the only running back they have without Miles Sanders. If Miles Sanders comes back, I don't think that he has any value. But if Miles Sanders is going to miss this week, then picking up Chuba Hubbard as there's, I think, 6 teams on bye this week, no, this week is 0 teams on bye, but next week is 6 teams. Again.
I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome that we
6-0-6
football though.
Why can't we get 4-4-4 the whole? I mean, something.
It doesn't
dude.
make sense. Like
At
last
all.
week, for it to be that 6 teams on by, it did seem like football was off, but it wasn't just that. It was all so many underdogs won the game, and the underdogs you thought would win the game did not win the game. So it was the weirdest day of football ever, bro.
Now, if you're still listening to the episode right now, thank you, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm going to give you the best running back to pick up this week on the waiver wire that no one's going to talk about, and that's Pierre Strong. We're going to be real right now. The Cleveland Browns did not want to pay Kareem Hunt. They didn't even want to bring him back because of the other guys that they had on this roster with Jerome Ford and Pierre Strong. Pierre Strong was getting looks whenever Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt were in the game. Pierre Strong was already coming in, and with Jerome Ford being out for the next 2 to 3 weeks, Pierre Strong is going to fill that gap for you, especially if you have Ford. You need to be picking up Pierre Strong. Hunt is already rostered. He's rostered in most leagues, so you're not going to be able to get him, but you will be able to get Pierre Strong. He's available in probably 80% of leagues. I haven't even looked that one up because I did it right before the show, but that's the best one Nobody that I've looked up what other people are saying, nobody is talking about Pierre Strong. They're silly. Royce Freeman is not near as good of a target as Pierre Strong or Darrell Henderson because they both have to 50-50 split it. With Pierre Strong, he's going to be getting a 50-50 split of the Cleveland Browns running game. It doesn't matter who it is. You input somebody into that running game, they're going to have success. That's what the Cleveland Browns do, is they run the football really well. Now, tight end is really difficult to pick somebody up in, just in general, because most of them are rostered. A lot of teams will have two or three tight ends, especially if they have like a Fryermuth on IR. They'll roster two more just to get somebody until they can get someone like Dalton Schultz. If you listened a couple weeks ago and you picked up Dalton Schultz, then you can just log off right now. Thanks for listening. If not, Dalton Kincaid is the guy for you. Dawson Knox is indefinitely out. Rest of the season, Austin hasn't heard yet. That's why he's not crying. That's his best friend, so don't worry, Austin. We
What?
feel for you.
What? How do you know I didn't hear that? And what is he out with?
Indefinitely, so he's gotten a surgery on his wrist. So he's probably going to be out for the rest of the
Smith
season.
came back in 2 weeks.
No,
Let's
he didn't. And
And he had surgery on his hand last year, and he came back 2 weeks.
so he hurt his
Knox
wrist
did.
last week, and then he practiced on a limited basis, and then he re-injured it this week. It's a lot more serious. So Sean McDermott said that they've decided to do surgery, that they don't know when he's going to be back, that they're not really preparing for him to come back this season, that he could be gone for the whole time. So Dalton Kincaid's season has just started. You need to get him now before he gets all the targets for the tight end position. This team has actually started to utilize the tight end a little bit. And in the red zone, they love the tight end. Now, Josh Allen is the number one red zone vulture in the league today. He's number one. Him and Jalen Hurts go back and forth. But he, just like, if they actually do get down there, he takes it in himself. So I think that Kincaid is going to be able to get it done without having to be touchdown dependent. That's why we're bringing him up. He's available in 50% of leagues for a tight end. That's crazy. He should not be available in more than 30. So I think that that's an easy one. Do you have anything else for us, Austin?
That's about it.
Well, make sure you guys go to Tulsi Rose Tea at tulsirosetea.com for all of your tea needs. They've got tea infusers, different teas. They ship all across the U.S. and Canada. We will see you again later this week with a little bit more information on some betting information for you guys, as well as the preview for this week's matchups and what to expect in Week 8. Until next time, peace.
Doses.